Hello everyone. During these weeks of restrictions due to the pandemic, we are unable to have our services in the church, and so once again I am bringing you this reflection for Sunday from the study here of the Manse of Hilton Parish Church. And this week I have brought with me this rather fine walking stick. Now this is carved in 3 pieces, and on it you can see mountain gorillas, and the reason for that is that this walking stick comes from Rwanda. And if you're fortunate enough to visit Rwanda, you can visit the mountain gorillas in the Volcanoes National Park. Now, the gorillas are called mountain gorillas for a good reason. They are up there and you have to get to them. And so a trip is organised with guides, and you are given one of these walking sticks because at times the going can get quite difficult. It can be anything from 1 to a 3-hour trek just to get close to a gorilla family. The rewards, however, are marvellous if you are able to find a family, and you're practically guaranteed to. You may recall David Attenborough in one of the most iconic moments from his career in the 1970s when he was in Volcanoes National Park in Rwanda and he met one of the families of mountain gorillas there. It made a huge impression on him and to all of us who watched in awe. Marvellous animals, and thank goodness for the protection that they receive. Their numbers have increased since these days. So I'm talking about walking today and the aids that we can use with us when the going gets tough. One of the things that we've been allowed to do throughout the last year of the pandemic, we've been allowed to walk, and many have found their walking feet once again, as at times it has been the only way that we were able to get out of the house to do some exercise locally, going for a walk. And so it's become quite popular, taking a walk for fitness purposes, and also it's good for our mental health too to get out into nature for a walk. And so walking has become quite a feature of our lives in the last year. And also in the last year, walking has become vital for many of us for a different way. And I don't mean walking outside along the road with your hiking boots on or your walking shoes. Many folk have benefited greatly from walking with God and having God walking alongside them. There are a few passages in the Bible about walking, but I'm going to share just 1 or 2 with you. Very short passages. The first one is a single verse from the Old Testament, from Micah chapter 6 and verse 8. He has told you, O mortal, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justice, and to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. And then in John's Gospel chapter 8, and reading there at verse 12. John 8 and verse 12. It's in here somewhere. Yes, here we are. Again Jesus spoke to them, saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. And then finally, in the very first book of the Bible, we hear about two men who actually walked with God. That is the theme of these verses. The first is Genesis chapter 5, verses 23 and 24. Thus all the days of Enoch were 365 years. Enoch walked with God. Then he was no more, because God took him. And then at chapter 6 and verse 9. These are the descendants of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his generation. Noah walked with God. And Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham and Japheth. Amen. I think my walking stick was trying to go a walk on its own there for a wee while. And so there's biblical verses on walking with God. Walking beside God, having him with us, gives us a comfort when the going gets difficult. It gives us strength to face what is in front of us, as God will be our constant companion. God will walk beside us when we keep faith with him. Having faith means trusting God every day, despite what may be going on round about us. And that's been comforting during these times of lockdown and the pandemic, to have God walking beside us to give us comfort, strength and also guidance. But let's also remember that God wants to walk alongside us. We are companions on a journey. When you go for a walk, it's good to have someone with you. You can share many things. And yes, it's also good at times to walk on your own. But of course you are never alone if God is walking beside you. And there may be places that you like to go to walk where you feel that closer presence of God. And when I was thinking about this, I recalled trips to the island, the marvellous island of Iona. And midweek on Iona there is a pilgrimage round the island for those who wish to go. And so you all gather at the Abbey, and then you set out to walk round the island, and it takes most of the day. And you're all together. And there is a strength in that togetherness. There might be times when you walk with just one other person and you're deep in conversation, and somehow on that pilgrimage in Iona you talk about things that can be quite deep, be quite personal to your companion and they with you. And that's important. And then there's other times when you share things together as a group. At various points in the pilgrimage, the group will worship. One very, very poignant moment I felt was at the hermit's cell, when there was complete silence as we sat round, and that was very, very powerful. But we were sharing that, and we were sharing in God's presence. There was also times for humour as well. The ground got a wee bit boggy at times, with all the results of that. And Victoria Staniforth, if you're listening to this, you may remember me hauling you out of a boggy ground because of the daft moon boots you had on that day as a youngster. And there was also times when it got very windy, and I remember one of our senior members struggling up a hill, and so 2 of us got beside her and put our arms round her arms, and we just about transported her off her feet up the hill, and we ate and shared that together too. A very, very important day, and a day where the group was also conscious of God being with us. George MacLeod said that there are places on earth where the veil between heaven and earth is very thin, and Iona was such a place, and we certainly felt very close to the heavenly kingdom that day. When you get to the end of the pilgrimage on Iona, it ends in the highest point on the island. Not a great boast, because it's kind of like just a small hill, but it's the highest point called Dinnie, and that is when you see a marvellous view over the whole island. You take that in and maybe have some silent prayer to yourself, and then it's a short walk back down towards the Abbey. All the companions together walking along the road, refreshed from feeling close to God and ready to once again take up the Christian duties which awaited them in the world. Friends, I think it's not just on the pilgrimage in Iona that we should journey and feel close to God. Every day we should take a bit of time to feel close and sense God's presence with us. And if we have loving, trusting and humble spirits, and if we seek the will of God in our lives, then we shall find that we have our Heavenly Father as a constant companion as we journey throughout our life. And just as you are given a guide when you walk to the gorillas at the Volcanoes National Park in Rwanda, so God will guide us. God will guide us in the right paths. Let us pray. Lord God, this past year has been very difficult for us. We have experienced so many restrictions and difficulties in our lives. The global pandemic has affected us all in one way or another. But you have been with us, alongside us, to comfort and to strengthen and to give us the resolve to continue. When we emerge from the effects of these times, make us aware that we should not think that we can travel solo, but that we shall still need you walking beside us. We pray that we can be worthy companions for you and for the people in our communities and the world. We offer our prayer through Jesus Christ our Lord. And now may the blessing of God Almighty, the Father, the Son and the Holy Spirit be with you all this day and forevermore. Amen.